What's going on, guys? This is the third part of our call taking or how you should be answering your phone calls video. And I'm just going to do a quick recap on 1 and 2. 1, we talked about the introduction, and you know that whenever you're answering your phone, you need to say your business name, your own name, and you need to ask the question of what does that customer need? And this is what it sounds like. Hey guys, thanks for calling Mr. Quick Pick. This is Julio speaking. How can I help you? That's what I normally say. I don't say, hey guys. I just say, hey, thanks for calling Mr. Quick Pick. This is Julio speaking. How can I help you? Next thing that comes out of that customer's mouth is what they need. And then I take from what they need, I take it into a ping pong conversation. As long as they answer one question, I can keep ping ponging the rest of these questions. So they tell me what they need. Hey, I need a battery jump start. I say, perfect. We can help you with that. That's not a problem. Just need some information from you. What's your name? What's your phone number? And ping pong it all the way down until you get to the pricing. And whenever you say pricing, don't ever, if a customer asks you a question about pricing while you're on the phone call, don't just say, oh, it's $75 and just end it there. You want to say it's $75. We'll be there in 30 to 40 minutes. End it with a question. Remember to keep control of the conversation no matter what. And no matter what is said, ask a question when you're done talking, and that'll make sure that you continue and you keep the control in the conversation, because that is the most important thing, guys. Keeping control. That'll make a 5-minute conversation turn into a 15-minute conversation if you don't have control of the call. So make sure that you have control. Once you get into your ping-pong scenario where you're just asking questions and the customer's shooting answers at you, you're going to get to the point where you ask the question, how are you going to pay? When you get to that question, it's very important that you acknowledge what's going to happen based on what they say. So if they say, I'm going to pay with cash, that's an immediate. You say, okay, perfect. You're paying with cash. We'll see you in about 30 to 45 minutes. Thank you for calling. You're out the door. You're on your way. You're getting there as quick as possible, because cash customers are always a risk. They could have called 5 people before you. You could have been the 6th one. And by the time you get there, she could be completely gone. And I know some people are cool, but customers are not going to care if they left and you didn't get there on time, okay? They're not going to feel bad, and I don't blame them. This is why I collect upfront. So if a customer says, I want to pay with cash, take the risk, get there quickly, get there as fast as you can, get the job done. If they say, I'm going to pay with a card, you follow it up with another question. So I asked the question, hey, how are you going to pay? Are you going to pay with cash, or do you want to pay with a card? Customer says, oh, I'll pay with a card. Then I'll say, okay, perfect. Did you want to pay right now over the phone, or did you want me to send you a link to your cell phone? Now, depending on what they say, if she says, I'm going to go ahead and pay now, perfect. I'll go ahead and get the information ready. I'll say, okay, what's the name on the card? What's the card number, card expiration date, code on the back, zip code, address, whatever you need to collect that, said and done. Like, all right, we got the information here. And then when you're done collecting payment, right, you just say, oh, hey, we've got everything ready. I've got your payment. I just assigned a driver. Will be there in about 30 to 45 minutes, or whatever your ETA is, right? That's what you ended up with. You always end it with, thank you for calling. We'll be there in about 30 to 40 minutes. See you soon. If they're paying with the card. Now, if they're paying with the card over the phone. Now, if you ask that question, okay, are you paying with cash or card? And they say card. And then you say, okay, do you want to pay now over the phone, or do you want me to send you a link? If they choose the link, you can go ahead and send the link right away, but let them know that they also have to pay up front, because most people think that they can wait till the driver gets there to pay with the link. But all you have to do is word it a certain way, right? I like to say it like this. Whenever they say, okay, I want to pay with a link. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll go ahead and send you a link. Just pay that when the driver's en route to your location. You should get a text message. And this is where having a digital dispatching system is a benefit, because whenever you have a digital dispatching system, like I do, I think I have Towbook and I have Dispatch Anywhere. But on both of those apps, my customers will get a text message when I'm en route, or when somebody's en route to the call. And that's a secondary affirmation to the customer. If they're on the phone with you and you sent them a link for payment, and then they get the link, a text message link saying, hey, your driver's on the way. Then they're like, oh, this is legit. I'm going to go ahead and pay this. Because 99% of the time, people don't want to pay directly over the phone because they don't trust you. They're skeptical. It's not that they don't want to pay for the service. They just don't trust whoever's on the phone with them. And this is why it's important that you sound as trustworthy as possible. So Just remember that, guys. Whenever you go into the question of, are you paying with cash or card? Know the consequences that can happen with cash. It can happen. It may or may not happen. I'm pretty sure it will if you do it more than 10 times a year. Guaranteed. If they're paying with cash, there's only one way to go. Take the risk, get out there quickly, get the job done. If they're paying with a card, perfect. Are you going to pay with card over the phone right now? Or are you going to pay with a link when the driver's en route to your location? You don't have to say it like that. Most people won't even ask. Most people don't care. Some people will say, yeah, I'll just go ahead and pay you right now. And you don't have to say anything else. Some people will say, yeah, I'll go ahead and pay with a link, and they'll pay with a link right then and there. But it's always important that you mention it to them and say at least, hey, please make sure you make that payment when somebody's en route to your location. Or please make sure you make that payment. Sometimes I even say, whenever my driver sees that you made the payment, he'll mark himself on the way. Or I'll say, whenever somebody calls you about your service, please go ahead and make that payment, because they're not going to finish the job until you paid. I don't say that, but there's certain different scenarios have happened. I've had people call me back wondering if their payment went through. But there's so many different things that can happen as far as the payments go. Just make sure that you kind of make it go your way by setting it up in a way that benefits you. You can also have customers pay you when you get there if they're paying with a card over the phone. But that's just counterintuitive. I mean, if I'm making a commitment to drive to your location, you're going to make a commitment to pay me first. Why wouldn't you? Unless you really don't want the service. So just keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with customers and you're doing the sales pitch. Whenever you get down to pricing, if they're paying cash or card, or remember to ask that question. Remember to ask the question if they're paying cash or card. If they're paying cash, you know what to do. Get there as quick as possible and know the risk. If they're paying with card, ask the question, are you going to pay with card over the phone right now? Or are you going to pay with card with a link? If they choose a link, go ahead and send them the link. If they don't pay it in like 2 minutes, call them. Be like, hey, somebody's en route to your location. Can you please go ahead and pay that link? There's so many different ways you can do it. Figure it out. You can do it your very own tailored way. I've done it probably 100 different ways. And this is my favorite way of doing it. Whenever I ask a customer how they're going to pay, I either say, hey, are you going to pay now over the phone? Do you want to pay now over the phone? Or should I just send you a link? I've said that too. Should I just send you a link? And if I send them a link, then I'll say, go ahead and pay the link. I'll wait on the phone with you. And then they might say, oh, wait, do I have to pay the link now? I was like, typically we do collect payment up front, if that's okay with you. If not, we can have you hold off on payment until a driver goes. But a driver won't start until you pay, something along the lines of that. There's so many different ways you can word it, but that's the gist on collecting payments at the end of the call, is collect your payment up front if you can, and most of the time you can. I think I have a policy now with my roadside service that I don't send out calls unless they're paying cash or unless they're paying with a card over the phone. Sometimes we send links, but the links are usually paid up before the drivers even get there. So just make sure you're connecting with your customers. Shoot them a text message, remind them to pay the link. It's not hard to get a payment up front. It's not hard at all to get a payment up front. All you have to do is learn to ask and learn how to sound good at doing it. So thanks for watching, guys. That's all for this time.